What is up, everyone? Happy Friday, French Friday, whatever you want to call it. Lauren Jabara here with Jared Smith. Jared, how you doing today?
I'm okay. I had to take 2 showers this morning to wash off the stench of Matt Ryan and the Falcons last
Yeah,
night. But
sorry
besides
about that.
that, tremendous. Atlanta. I mean, goodness gracious, they must not be happy walking around the mean streets of Atlanta today, hanging around your apartment. It's been a rough few weeks for the Falcons.
That's definitely true. But the Patriots, on the other hand, looked really good, and
Really good.
I mean, Mac Jones is now what? Is he the offensive rookie of the year favorite now?
Yeah, it's close, him and Jamar Chase. I mean, we'll see what Chase does on Sunday. They haven't played in over a week. They were on the bye last week. So we'll see if Chase can kind of, grab a little bit of that mantle back. But right now, and also another thing that I've noticed too, Bill Belichick is starting to climb the coach of the year odds board. He's still behind Vrabel and Kingsbury, and I think there's one other guy in front of him, but he was way back there a few weeks ago. And it looks like the Patriots, I mean, if they find a way to win the AFC East with a rookie quarterback and they unseat Josh Allen and the Bills, I think you can make a case for Bill to be coach of the year. But just a very intriguing season for the Patriots. They are a legit playoff contender, no doubt, especially with
They're really exciting to watch. I mean, I was even thinking in the first half of the game yesterday, even though the score was 13-0, it didn't necessarily reflect how good they looked in that first half, especially. So really exciting moving forward for the Patriots. Now they have a weekend off to just sit on their butts and watch football, maybe have a couple beers, eat some wings.
Just like me.
Football players do that. Just like Jared, one of us. All right, we got a really exciting show today because for the first time ever, we're doing a giveaway, $250 to a random viewer, watcher, listener that has the best sports betting question in the comments. So make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're commenting, make sure you're liking, because we're doing this show now every single day live at 10 a.m. It's very exciting. Jared's ready to give out 250 bones. And we popped on the show this morning and he's like, can today be my off day? I want to watch this show.
That's what I said. Well, I responded to the email last night when they were talking about the promotion, and I was like, 250 bones. That's a lot. That's a lot of cheddar. So, but here's the kicker. And I feel very powerful today. This is, I feel very happy about.
You hold the power. Yeah,
I'm the one that gets to decide. I'm the one that gets to decide who wins. And here's how you win. You ask a smart, insightful, non-trolling question in the chat that we will at some point during the show.
Throw that in there.
Well, you're on social media. You see some of the comments. Ask something that actually inspires me to think and makes us give you a very insightful answer back. And that person will win the money.
You got to impress Jared Smith today. That's what it's all about, guys.
Hard
to do.
That's what
it's all about. We got a lot to talk about today because we got week 11 of NFL. So we have our NFL picks, week 12 of college football. We have Pamela Maldonado coming on from Yahoo Sportsbook. So that's going to be really exciting. She's going to talk a little college football with us. And then we can't end without our Pickswise play of the day and our best bets of the day. So without further ado, $250 on the line. Just saying. Let's get it. Let's bet it. NFL week 11, Jared. Obviously, it started out last night. I was on the Patriots. You weren't necessarily loving my pick.
No,
but it's okay. The Pats showed what they're capable of doing last night. Now they have the weekend off. But heading into the weekend, who are you looking at? What games are you looking at? And then what games are you staying away from, too?
Man, I'm seeing some great questions in the
we already got some good ones.
One of them. This one isn't going to be a winner, but they asked over under how many snorts you'll have today. I thought that one was pretty funny. All right, so I gave out a ton of picks on the Playbook Show. Chris Rose, Ross Tucker. We actually just tweeted out this morning, a little bit of a reboot. It's a podcast now too, which is super exciting because I never had a podcast before. Everyone has a podcast.
Everyone has a podcast.
But now I have a podcast, which is really cool. So go check out the podcast. We give out tons of picks. I'm going to give you my teaser here. And it's a game that I know you're on the other side of. So hey, listen, one of us will win this pick because it's a teaser. So one of us has to win this pick. All right. So I'm going to move the Saints through 3 and 7. I really like this spot. It's probably my favorite teaser spot of the week. It's a low total game, which is why I like the teaser even more. And of course, if you move it through 2 key numbers, that is a chef's kiss for a teaser. So I think this is a toss-up game. And I think the books, at least from what I heard from some of the odds makers we talked to this week, they kind of gave the public a test here to see how much hype would be around this Eagles team after their very impressive win over the Broncos. That's why this line opened basically a pick 'em. They wanted to invite some of that Philly money, and they did. They got some of it, and it moved the line to now 1. It's now 2. It's sitting kind of in that 1-2 range. But that is a prime leg to tease to the other side because, again, you're moving it through those 2 key numbers. The Saints defense really is the handicap for me here. I think New Orleans has been kind of snake bitten the last 2 weeks. They lost to the Falcons by 2, and I know that loss is looking really bad now. But then they also lost to the Titans by 2, and there were some interesting happenings by Tony Correntes. It was either Tony Corrente or Jerome Boger, one of the referees, that's just one of the worst referees in the NFL, had some interesting calls in that game that went against New Orleans. I think the Saints could have won that game. And I think when you look at Alvin Kamara coming back, I think Teron Armstead is also going to be back for the Saints. That's their left tackle. Ramczyk, the right tackle, is battling some injuries. So check the injury report this week. But I think the Saints are getting a little healthier, and they need this game because the NFC is really tightening up at the bottom, and they're starting to see things slip away. So we're going to move the Saints through 3 and 7. And I think the Niners is another good teaser. Like, that's another relatively low total game, and you're moving it from 7 to 1 or 6.5 to 0.5. And I know it could be a letdown spot. I know it's a short week. I know the Niners are traveling west to east. I don't care about any of that because they can smash the football right down the Jags' throat. That's what they did against the Rams. So that's our teaser of the week. Niners laying a point, laying a 0.5 point. Basically, they just have to win the game. And the Saints, love the Saints as a teaser leg this week, moving through 3 and 7. I got it up to 7.5.
I like it. I want to talk about the Saints a little bit later because that is my best bet of the day, but we're not going to get into that yet.
Teaser.
Not quite yet.
Teaser
but
of the teaser.
I look at a team like Carolina against the Washington football team. I usually say go team, but not this week. So I'm going for Carolina, laying the points 3.5 against Washington. I think, Tyler, words are hard sometimes, Jared. I've been short-circuiting lately. It's not good.
Deep breaths. You're okay. Too much coffee. You got to relax on the coffee.
Coffee with a straw.
I do it too.
Good morning, sunshine.
I'm a big fan of the coffee with the straw. This is a metal straw. I'm environmentally friendly.
Taylor Heineke has run hot and cold after taking over for Washington, but he's coming off one of his best performances yet. Speaking of backup quarterbacks, Carolina got a boost from Cam Newton, PJ Walker after a dreadful stretch from Sam Darnold, right? That home crowd's going to be loud for Cam's return. I think they still love him, So I think Washington knows it's now or never, and they're going to make a run. I don't know. This should come to, I think this game's going to come down to the wire. I don't see either team winning by more than a field goal. I think Washington, I don't know. Washington could be a wise underdog selection, but at the same time, I think Carolina is really going to come out strong in this one. There's not like that much insider knowledge that I have on this. I just feel like Cam Newton coming in this one, I think he's going to look really good and play a good game tonight. So,
it's the Taylor Heineke revenge game too. He was on Carolina.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to
I'll be honest. If this game, if you had to ask me like reality TV, like this is the game. Ron Rivera facing his former team, Taylor Heineke, former team, Cam Newton first start back with it's like the sequel, Cam Newton sequel. Like this game, it's going to be a fascinating watch. Watch.
I also like Tennessee Titans. I know you've loved the Titans. They've looked really, really strong recently.
Not this week, though.
I have them laying 10. I do. Against the Titans. Here's the thing. If you believe, the chat is big on the Panthers right now. Lots of Cam Newton love.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do people actually love him as a player, or do they just love his outfits and the hat with the hair sticking out the top?
I wonder why the chat's blowing up. I wonder why.
People want to win $250.
Damn straight
love
they do.
to see it.
Isn't it funny how you do that? You give free money away and everyone just runs.
I'd be in the chat if I wasn't working right now. That'd be great. I also have Tennessee laying 10 against the Texans right now. I think if you believe in momentum at all, it isn't easy to get behind the Houston Texans on the road against the Tennessee Titans. I think even if odds makers are giving you 10 points for this one, the Texans haven't won a game since week 1. The Titans haven't lost a game in regulation since week 1. The Titans, mind-numbing loss to the Jets. Sorry about your Jets. Back in week 4. Tennessee has ripped off 6 straight wins even while losing Derrick Henry. I think one could argue, Jared, that they're due for a letdown at some point, but it won't be this week, right? You're all about the letdown games. The Texans haven't won a game on the road this season and haven't covered the spread since week 2. So I think a trip to Tennessee is not the time for this trend to end. That's all I got to say about that.
Good rhyme there.
I think divisional games with big spreads can be tricky. Jeremy McNichols, concussions out. Bud Dupree, abdomen have been out of practice for the Titans. But I think with the backdoor cover also in play, the Texans quarterback Tyrod Taylor, more than capable. I think this is far from a no-brainer for me. I'm taking Tennessee laying 10. Tennessee laying 10.
That's pretty. That sounds all well and good. Do you want me to refute, or do you want me to just smile and nod?
No, don't smile. Give me something back.
All right. So this game is like a double foot long sandwich game. Like, you ever go to Subway and get like the foot long? This is like the 6 foot long sandwich. Like, it's crazy.
Okay.
Let me pull up all right, I got it right here. The last 5 games for Tennessee: Buffalo, Kansas City, Indy, Rams, Saints, playoff team, underdogs in most of them. Now it's the Texans coming off of a bye, which it is noteworthy. 5-11 ATS, teams off the bye this season. Not great. The bookmakers we talked to this week said that the sample size was too small to really draw any meaningful conclusions, but still noteworthy, and we give all the information here on LBI. Next week, Mike Vrabel returns to New England, the place he won 3 Super Bowls at, his former team. And in between all of those playoff teams and next week's game, it's the Houston Texans, who haven't won since week 1. You mentioned they haven't covered since week 2. There is no analytical data point that I can give to you that says Tennessee is not as good, shouldn't beat Houston by 2 scores, 10 points. But the NFL markets have this way of just giving you these bones, these tests. And this is, from everyone we talked to this week, this is the ultimate pros versus Joes game. We use that term sometimes when all of the public is. This was like the Monday night game again with the Rams and the Saints. I mean, with the Rams and the Niners. Everybody's on Tennessee this week, and the line hasn't moved. In fact, it's kind of sharpened up towards Houston. I'm not saying Tennessee can't blow this Houston team out, but
they're going to blow them out.
The market says the Texans are going to keep this game close. That's it. That's all I'll refute.
You remember when we said stats are for losers?
Stats are definitely for losers. But the stats in this game point to Tennessee, especially over the last few games. Especially their defense over the last few games.
Maybe if stats are favoring me, then stats are not for losers.
Exactly. The stats favor you.
Forget
Here
the stats. Come on now.
It's the market and it's the public perception that is against you here. Because everybody's betting Tennessee, but we haven't seen that line move to 12 or 13 or to that key number of 14. I get a funny feeling this week that the Texans are going to keep this game. I said it last week,
and I'll say it again this week. As my good friend and poet Robert Frost would say, a path diverged in the woods, and I took the one less traveled. Well, this week I'm taking the one most traveled because I'm taking the Tennessee Titans laying 10. The Tennessee laying 10. I just want to keep saying 10. Okay, I got a few more NFL picks, but before we do that, we're going to bring in our good friend to talk a little college football, Pam Maldonado, analyst and writer for Yahoo Sportsbook. And I promise you guys, all the commenters, viewers, listeners, we're getting to your questions. We're going to choose a winner.
We'll do it at the end.
Of the show, but we want to talk NFL, college football, everything first before we do it. Pam, how are you?
I'm doing well. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Thanks so much Jared told us it's your day off. So sorry to make you hop on your day off.
Oh no, I do this to myself. Every Friday.
She's a student of the game. She's a student of the game.
I just have to put together my card for Saturday, so it's still a work day.
You love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, thanks so much for taking some time to join us. Obviously, college football week 12 is upon us, and there's some awesome trends that we're seeing develop. There's some big games going on this week. Are there any specific games or bets that you're making or looking at heading into week 12 this week?
I think there's a lot of, I think once you get towards the end of the season, a lot of people still focus on volume. They still focus on, I love all these games. I start to wind my card down smaller and smaller as the season progresses because we're running out of games. And so we only have 2 weeks left of college football. Like, how did that happen? And so instead of me doing, 5 to 10 plays, I'm trying to narrow it down to 2 or 3. I haven't narrowed them down entirely at this moment. I do have my best bet, which is SMU plus 11.5 in Cincinnati. I had to check my bias on this matchup. It was one of those games that I've had circled on for a few weeks. Preseason, I was already looking ahead of what they saw with Cincinnati wasn't producing early on in the season. I was like, all right, who are the teams that are going to be able to contend? So SMU was definitely on my list early on, and I love SMU catching as many points as they're having. Cincinnati is just not the same team that they were in 2020, and I will stand on this grave. What did they say? I will stand on this hill alone, and I will die on this hill alone. I am hoping that SMU can prove my point correct this week.
Yeah. I'm curious because the Cincinnati, I mean, goodness gracious, they've had every opportunity possible to really show you that they're a top 4 team. Mm-hmm. The committee clearly is not buying in. I'm not buying in. Pam, you're not buying in. What is it about Cincinnati that, like, it's not there? Like, maybe they're just not seeing that sense of urgency, but unless they get fortunate and Oregon loses this week, or maybe they get a couple of other breaks that go their way with some other teams, it seems like Cincinnati, there's really not much they can do in their own power right now to get themselves into that top 4.
The huge difference that I saw, and I saw it early on, is, Jared, you and I talked last year, and I was so high on this Bearcats team in 2020, and they just ran the table against some of the most potent offenses in all of college football. Mm-hmm. In the American Conference, you have SMU, Memphis, Houston, East Carolina, all teams that are capable of putting up 50-plus points every single game. And Cincinnati held all of those teams in back-to-back weeks to 17 points or less. And now if you look at who Cincinnati is playing this season, not only is the Bearcats offense not scoring as much as they're capable of as compared to last year, but they're letting teams like Navy put up 20 in a barely win by 7 situation. You could only win to Notre Dame, who had 3 quarterbacks because of injury in that matchup. You're winning to Tulsa by 8 points. Like, you're allowing South Florida, you allowed 28. Last season, they held multiple teams to 17 points or less. This year, Cincinnati is allowing multiple teams 20 points or more. And the pass rush, highly every year. One of the things that I look at is quarterback pressure. And last year, Cincinnati was top 10 in quarterback pressure. This year, they're barely cracking in the top 50. It's just not the same team. And I'm hoping that SMU, this is the spot for them, the most potent offense that they have faced this season. Just don't turn the ball over, and SMU has a shot to upset.
I like it. I actually really like it. And I'm all about, taking a pick that maybe no one thinks it's going to happen. I think I'm doing that this week. I took Wake Forest money line. I want to see what you think about this over Clemson. And I actually feel very strongly about it. Jared, I love my plus money bets.
Love it.
I love my value picks. And I love my plus money line because I just like saying money twice. But you look at Wake Forest, and I look at a team like Wake Forest, right? You see an unranked team giving points to a highly ranked team, and it always piques my interest, and it's certainly going to get my attention when the favorite team in question is playing Clemson in Death Valley, right? And so I was actually talking to my dad about it this morning. He's like, no, I'm on Clemson, hands down. I'm like,
oh, Mr. Jabara.
What?
Mr. Jabara, come on. Don't fade your daughter.
I know. So we had a little conversation about it. Yeah. I go, oh, sure. You hear the caveats. Clemson stinks this year. They failed to top 21 points in their first 6 games against FBS opposition. It could never cover the spread against UConn this past weekend. And all of those things are true, right? But at the same time, the Tigers have slowly been putting things together on the offense the past couple of weeks, but their defense is still a menace. But I think Clemson's defense will be the best unit against Wake Forest offense all year. They're big, physical up front. They're going to create problems at times for the Demon Deacons. But I look at this game and I look at what when they played Syracuse. They have the number 2 defense in the ACC and is just 14 yards per game behind Clemson right now. Wake scored 40 on them. Wake's offense is rolling. The team wants to play for Sam Hartman right now. I look at the same thing with NC State, number 3. The Demon Deacons put up 45 on the pack last week. So I think Hartman and co have moved the ball really well on good defenses. And even with a defense like Clemson and what they have, I think that that's the only way that they would be able to beat Wake this week. I don't think that Wake is going to hit 40, but I think they're going to put up enough points on the board to win a game and clinch a spot in the ACC title game. Their magic number is 1. They need one more win. I think that gives them a little bit more intensity, a little bit more excitement going into this game. And I think that their offense is, and I know their defense isn't the best in the league, but I covered them in a game a little while ago when they were playing Louisville. You just know what this team is made of. You know how these guys are playing for Sam Hartman. You know what Dave Clawson's doing as a head coach. I just have a really good feeling heading into this game. Wake Forest money line plus money line. What do you think about it?
I can't disagree with you. It does have me worried because you see this line and I think, 1, why is Wake Forest the underdog? Yeah. And 2, why has the market moved away from Wake Forest? Let me ask coming on Clemson. It opened at 3.5. It's now 4.5. It's getting close to 5. And the Tigers, if you look at who the opponents they have played only 2 passing offenses, and they lost both matches, 27-21 to NC State in overtime and 27-17 to Pitt. Now, the difference between those 2 teams and Wake Forest is both of those, NC State and Pitt, have a defense. Wake Forest does not. So Clemson, who is still lackluster in that offense, could potentially still rally up any bit of points here because Wake Forest's defense is not anything to contend about. They're 80th against the pass. They're bottom 20 against the run. This is the Demon Deacons. This is why they're always in high-scoring games. So the question is, can Clemson capitalize on such a situation? The Tigers are bottom 20 in total offense, and that's going to be the big difference maker is what playmaking abilities on offense that the Tigers can put together. I do side with Wake Forest in this. I'm not sure I'm going to make it to the window because line movement did kind of steer me off from, okay, well, what are people seeing in Clemson that I'm not? And the other difference in this matchup compared to Clemson's 2 losses is that both Pitt and NC State are one-dimensional passing offenses. And now you have Wake Forest, this is why I also like Wake Forest, is because they are a balanced offense. I know that we talk about quarterback Sam Hartman, and he is an absolute stud, 3,200 yards, 30 passing touchdowns. But what helps this offense more with the passing game is that they have a trio of running backs in Christian Beal-Smith, combined 16 scores between these 3. And that could be the big difference in this game is if they step away from using Hartman and utilize more of that ground game in order to kind of keep things tight. And I think that's going to be the key takeaway is probably going to be less Hartman. Let's try to avoid some of these turnover situations, which Clemson can generate, and keep it to the ground, keep things light, and let's not get into a pissing contest essentially because Clemson, I know that they don't have the best offense, but your defense is so horrid that, hey, let's try to let's keep it light this time. Let's not get into a shooting fest here, and let's see if we can come out with a win. So if Clemson, that's also going to be the problem. If Clemson falls behind, do you have the trust in DJ Uiagalelei to take the charge and put some points on the board when needed?
Yeah, no.
I don't.
No. I don't either. I like Wake Forest. I'm still just confused.
I think Sam Hartman is the second coming of Chase Daniel. He is going to make a ton of money as a backup quarterback in the NFL. So, and it's been an amazing season for him. Interesting game. The market definitely favors Clemson. A lot of the handle coming in on Wake. Lines moved a little bit in favor of Clemson. Pam, you're very popular in the chat right now. A lot of questions on whether you have any pancake bets for this weekend. That's been the most popular question I've seen over the last few. But I want to ask you about this Ohio State-Michigan State game because it's obviously the biggest game of the weekend. 2 top 10 teams. It's a crazy line considering they're only favored by 3, or they're only separated by 3 spots in the rankings, but it's a 3 touchdown spread. I like Ohio State. I think Ohio State's the second best team in the country behind Georgia. I think they've got the perfect offense, the temperament, the pedigree to give Georgia problems with that quarterback Stroud and with those great wide receivers. How do you see this game? Is 18, 19 points too many to lay against the top 10 Michigan State team?
If it seems too easy, it probably is. I love Ohio State in this spot. 19. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't have a computer that tells me what a number should or shouldn't be. I just go off of I like a favorite. I think they're going to dominate. I'll lay whatever it is you're giving me. So Ohio State is 19. I'm going to lay the 19 with Ohio State because it's pretty simple. It's a simple logic. Sometimes wins the day. And you have the number 6 passing offense in C.J. Stroud, who is a Heisman contender, by the way. This Buckeyes offense against the literal passing defense in all of college football. There's only 130 teams in the nation, and Michigan State is dead last. You can't get worse than worse. And so I think C.J. Stroud is going to have himself a day. And Michigan State, they already gave us a preview as to what we could expect from this game when they played Purdue. But the Boilermakers, quarterback Aiden O'Connell, is that a Heisman contender? No, and yet he still put up 536 passing yards, 40-29 win.
Yeah.
The big difference between Purdue and Ohio State is Purdue, they are not a very good run defense. They're 70th against the run. Ohio State is top 15. Kenneth Walker, I think he's going to struggle in this game. He's going to drop out of the Heisman contender chat. And now you're going to see Ohio State just have their way with Michigan State, with the Spartans. I know that somebody had sent me a tweet the other day, and it was Michigan State has only covered against Ohio State once, but it was an outright win by double or something like that. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what the situation is. The situation now is that you have C.J. Stroud, number 6 passing offense against a 130 defense. What do you do with that? Lay the points. And if it doesn't work out, I would make the same bet 100 times after, because there's just, what type of strength are you looking for from the Spartans that can contend with Ohio State? Yeah. I don't see one.
Pam, this is coming from a Michigan fan, and I strongly I went to Michigan, but I strongly dislike Ohio State and Michigan State, but I am also laying the point. I am also
Tough game for you to pick, Lauren. Tough game for you to pick.
Guess what? Michigan will have their run at them. What is it? Is next week Thanksgiving already?
Next week's Thanksgiving. By the way, we have a look ahead there.
Yeah, so Michigan will have their run at them next week. Cade McNamara, the running backs. Let's go. I'm all about it. Let's
Ohio State laying just 6 next week, Pam. What do you think?
You can talk about a look ahead. I'm not at all convinced this is a look ahead for Ohio State. We won 8 straight. You're not really worried about the next competition. Now, is it a look ahead for Harbaugh? Absolutely. You know, he has this win. Once he saw that his team's kind of winning some games, they're doing well. Now he's like, holy crap, now I have this game at the end of the season. Maybe I actually have a shot of winning. This is definitely a look-ahead spot, more so for Michigan than it is for Ohio State.
And I'm laying the points for Michigan this week too. But you look at it, Harbaugh needs a win. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but Harbaugh needs a win against a big team. Like, he hasn't had one of those in 7 years. Literally 7 years. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So what I'm doing with Ohio State, I wrote an article a few days ago, is I really like Ohio State to win the national title. I think this is an offense that can contend against Georgia, and I would gladly lay, but the value is not there for laying them to win the national title, which is, I believe, at the time of writing, it was 4-1. So what I'm doing is a money line rollover parlay, and it's going to start next week with Michigan. You're going to rolling over whether they played Michigan, Oregon. I did all the options. It was Michigan, Oregon, Oklahoma, Alabama, whoever it is that they end up facing in the Big Ten title in the playoffs, you're getting more value from a money line rollover than you are doing 4-1 odds. And it's going to start next week instead of this week, because you're adding a risk by adding this extra game against Michigan State for not much value more. So it would just be smart to start next week against Michigan when it's smaller odds. COVID is still a situation. Injuries are still a situation, could be an issue. That's going to be, so that's what I'm going to be doing with Ohio State starting next week.
Mechanical parlay is what we call that. And I do that a lot in hockey, because I do that in hockey with series bets. If I like an underdog to win a series, or if I think an underdog in hockey can make the final, which happens a lot, you get better value by series underdog money line, series underdog money line, series underdog money line at the end of the rainbow if they get there. And you can also downplay your risk. You can, pocket a little bit if you want to and take a little bit off the top at the end of each series. That is a very effective strategy. Obviously, it's not as exciting because you don't get the bigger payout on your ticket, but patience and perseverance, really, that is a very effective strategy. So I certainly commend you for that. We're getting questions in the chat about the playoff and about the expansion of the college football playoff. What's the right number for you? We saw some news today. They might go to 12. It might be a few years out. What's the right number for you for the college football playoff? Where do you see it going, and where would you like to see it go?
I think 8 is fair. I don't know what 12. What are we doing? So the world. I come from the poker world and the World Series of Poker. When I first started with in poker in covering the WSOP, there was only about like 50 events. Now there's 100. Just because you add more, it doesn't make it more valuable.
Yeah,
I think 8 teams is perfectly fine. I think that would include some of the teams like Cincinnati. It would include other teams like maybe UCSA. I'm perfectly fine leaving it as is with 8. Leaving it with 8, creating it 8, nothing more, because then it becomes washed. It becomes
diluted.
Diluted. That's the word that I'm looking for. It's not.
It's like when you add more chaser to the alcohol to make the alcohol lessen the taste of the.
It's still the same. Yeah, it's still the same drink. It tastes a little bit better.
Add too much water to your protein shake.
That's one that you would recommend. That for sure.
I think 8 is a perfectly good number, and it allows the teams that we would like to see and contend have a shot, show what they can do, and I think 8 should be enough. And you know what? Here's the thing also with the playoffs. We're never going to be happy. No matter what they give us, we're not going to be happy. It's always going to be something. It's always going to be somewhere. If we do have 8, people are going to say we should have had 12. If we have 12, people are going to say we should have had 8. And there's not any point in stressing about it. Give us what we have. We're going to watch it anyway. We're going to enjoy it.
We're going to bet on it.
We're going to bet on it, and no matter what it is. But I will tell you that I absolutely hope that we do not have Georgia in the title game, because I'm just hoping for something to happen here for when they don't make it. Because last year, one of the biggest bets that I made of the season was for Mac Jones to hit every tier of his passing yards, and how the only way you're going to make opportunity, you're going to capitalize on those types of opportunities is if you have an offensive game. If you have Georgia in it, the player props are just going to be garbage.
Oh yeah, the total. Imagine like a Georgia, like Cincinnati title game. It would be like the total would be like 40.
I want offensive. I want fireworks. I want the points, because those are where you're going to find
Ohio State, Bama. That would be it.
I don't know if I want Alabama. I think it's time to push them off to the wayside, and I'm still hoping
So if you could have your dream, like you woke up and it's like Pamela Maldonado's Fantasyland title game, what would it be?
I think I know I just said no, but I think I would still go with it. Let's do Georgia and Ohio State, just to prove that, hey, I think this Ohio State team is as good as I believe they are, and this Georgia defense, though it is good, is still not as strong as people think it is, because every week teams are getting downfield. It is penetrable. You can get through this defense.
There's tape on them now.
The play calling. Yeah, and then this offense. I've been saying since preseason, Georgia is not, and look at me when they do win and whatever, but I've been saying that this Georgia is not going to win the Natty. They're not. It's overrated. Not going to happen. But the reason was never because of the defense. I knew the defense was going to be good coming into the season. It was the offense. We have not seen this Georgia offense have to stress over a playing from behind. Yeah. I want a team that's going to put them into a pressure situation. Are you going to trust? We just talked about what quarterback were we talking about? Are you going to trust them in a play from behind situation? I'm not going to like Stetson Bennett playing from behind. No. Ohio State is going to be able to be the team that puts them into one of those sticky situations, and now we're going to see what Georgia really is made of. I would love to see Ohio State gets it done. My preseason prediction comes through. My mid-season prediction on Ohio State comes through. Let's just check all the boxes.
Love it. Ohio State would be a 4-point underdog in that game, according to the Golden Nugget.
Taking the dog 100 times. I already know. I don't know what the line's going to be. I'm going to take the dog because I believe college is when did I say it? It was something like, in the NFL, defense wins Super Bowls. In college, offense wins the national titles.
I love it. Pam, it's been so much fun having you on. We really, really appreciate your time.
Enjoy that day off.
What did you say?
Enjoy that day off.
Yeah, enjoy your day off, even though you weren't necessarily off. So we appreciate you taking time on your Friday. Thank you so much for giving us your college football insights. We look forward to having you on in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. Jared, the chat is popping off right now.
Even Alex Glaze is in the chat
Can I just
today.
read one of these comments? Taylor
AG, what up,
Neal
bro?
says Jared is so handsome.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
It's a quarter button up.
I got this at Target for $20
I know, he's
yesterday.
really excited about his Target purchase.
I love the Target purchases. All right, we need to spend some time on this chat. I'll be honest, I am blown away by some of these questions. And I apologize if we can't get to all of them because we only have so much time in the show. Anis Lannon has asked some amazing questions. Yeah. I think you're the leader in the clubhouse right now for the 250 bones. All right. How is the best way to differentiate sharp money coming in or reverse line movement? Mm-hmm. Simply put, if you see all the handle, and I tweet out sometimes the percentage of tickets on one side and the line is moving in the other direction, or if the line stays put, if it's a very highly bet game and the line stays put, yet you're seeing 75, 80% of the tickets and the money come in on one side, that means that the smart money is on the other side. And I know the perception is, millions of dollars are on one side, they're going to move the line in that direction. A $1 million bet on team X -3 will not move the line if a respected bettor comes in and bets $100 on team Y +3. They will move the line towards team Y. The amount of money bet on one side is not what moves lines. It is the person or the group of people betting that side. That is how we detect reverse line movement. So I get that question a lot. It took me a while to figure it out. It's like a radar I have for it now. And it's almost like a natural gut reaction to some of these lines and the percentages. Yeah. But that was a tremendous question.
There's another question too. Do you think it's best to master one sport rather than trying to bet the whole market? And I know right now for you, Jared, like you said, it's tough to be a master of like college basketball, right? When there's so many teams, there's so much going on, when NFL and college football are going on right now.
So tough. So I think it's different for us because we're in it. We're working it. We have to give all these, we have to sound educated on air every day. I think if you're just
sound educated, we are educated, Jared. Come on now, don't sell yourself short.
You are so smart. I think if you're just like a recreational bettor and you're just throwing $5-10 on the games, I don't think you have to be an expert in any one sport. I think you should use your own entertainment value and say, hey, do I want to bet this game because I'm going to watch it and I want to have some action on it? I think that's fine. You don't have to be an expert on a sport to throw $10 on a game and just to watch and enjoy it. I think if you're really invested in this, like we are, like some of our viewers certainly are, I don't think it makes sense to really, push your bankroll to the middle and risk a lot unless you are putting in that adequate time, effort, research, all that stuff. So I think everyone has a niche. Me personally, NFL, college football, NHL, soccer. Those are the 4 sports that I really like. Yeah, college football, a little less, maybe NFL a little more, soccer a lot. I love soccer, obviously. Hockey.
Football and football.
Football. And then college basketball during those pockets, January, February, March, very highly invested as well. So I think it's important for everyone to understand yourself. Like, what do you like? And spend that time accordingly.
Yeah, I like it. One more from the chat. Who deserves the final 2 spots in the college football playoff if the following unfolds the next 2 weeks?
This is so tough.
Michigan.
I think Oregon's going to lose this week. I don't know. Some mouse. There must be a mouse in your apartment. I think Oregon's going to lose this week. And I think that sets the door open for Cincinnati. But I'll be honest. Houston, SMU, those are the next 2. So SMU this week, Houston in the American title game in 2 weeks. I could see Cincinnati losing one of those games too. If Michigan keeps things close against Ohio State, they're a 2-loss team. No, I think they have to beat Ohio. I think Michigan has to beat Ohio State to get in. Oklahoma State, keep an eye on the Cowboys. Mike Gundy, he's not a man. I'm a man. I'm 40, right? He's like 50 now. That was so long ago. But I think Oklahoma State has an easy game this week against Texas Tech, and then Bedlam, and then they'll play in the Big 12 title game. And I like the Cowboys. They've been tough this year. And I think their defense is really tough, which is what sets them apart from Oklahoma. So if I had to pick a team that's like no one's talking about right now, I think Oklahoma State can sneak in if Utah beats Oregon, if Ohio State beats Michigan, if Cincinnati loses to Houston in the title game or to SMU this week. So look out for the Cowboys. They could be sneaky.
Okay, one more in the chat before we get to our best bets of the day. From Jake, how many legs is too many legs in a same game parlay?
3 is the max. I wouldn't do more than 3.
Okay.
I think so. Actually, I just did an unbelievable one-on-one sit-down interview with Jeff Benson from Circus Sports. He's a really young, up-and-coming rising star odds maker. He gave me some great insight about parlays. Dog, under, favorite, over. That's the correlation you're looking for. So that's how I would, design a parlay, a same-game parlay. And then you throw in one, if it's the favorite over, you throw in the quarterback touchdowns or something, and then you get a little extra juice. But dog under, favorite over, those are the correlations I'm looking for with parlays.
Okay.
Same game parlays.
I like it. We love everyone getting involved in the chat.
This is so much fun.
This is so much fun.
We do a whole show on this, frankly.
I know. We should do a show one day to answer questions from people.
Honestly, I had trouble keeping up with all of them. There's so many of them. And I'm sorry if we didn't get to them.
You rock. The best, the absolute best. All right, give us a Pickswise 3-star play of the day.
Oh, actually, crap! I haven't even looked at the site yet. It's been such a crazy. Hold on, I'll pull it up right now. Okay, we do have a few today. One of them goes against my best bet, so we won't talk about that one. We'll give you it's actually a good game. Lakers Celtics. Nick Galeta has the under in the Lakers Celtics game. I'll be honest, I have not watched a ton of NBA this year, so I'm not going to give you any insight here. But I know based off of Twitter and social media that the Lakers have kind of stunk the big one over the last few weeks. So I'd be weary betting anything Lakers related, but an under seems safe. Betting an NBA under seems like torture.
Yeah.
But Nick says under 213 tonight, Lakers Celtics. Go to Pickswise.com and read about it.
I like it. Also, speaking of Lakers and Staples Center, what are they renaming it to now? Cryptocurrency?
The Crip. The Crip. Crypto.com. The Crip. We're going to call it the Crip. Yeah, we'll call it the Crip. I don't know. Or the Crypt. Okay. That's like where you bury people, right? The Crypt. Remember Tales from the Crypt, that show back in the day?
Yeah. Yeah. Back in my day.
I'm old.
All right.
Lauren aged me earlier. I said I moved to New York 7 years ago, and she's like, I was in college then.
Go Blue. How many Go Blue references can I get in one show? I don't know. We'll see.
You're up there.
We got a couple more minutes left.
Under on the snorts, though. On the snorts.
I know. Hey, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Maybe we'll still get one today.
Not your day.
It's time to give away $250, Jared. Do you want me to give a drum roll and you give it away?
Yes, please. I apologize if I mispronounce this person's name. Anis Lennon. Tremendous questions. Woo! He or she asked, I can't tell by the name. It seems to be a little androgynous of a name, but at least 4 questions that were just super insightful and very, very good. Congratulations, Anis Lennon. You are the winner.
We love to see it, and we loved y'all tuning in. Y'all, now I live in Atlanta. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's a Southern girl now.
Who is
Southern
she?
Gal.
Before we go, let's give our best bets of the day. Jared, who do you got?
You're not gonna like this pick at all. You're gonna hate it with a red hot intensity.
Why?
I'm fading your Avalanche tonight.
No. What are you doing?
I don't know.
What are you
This
doing?
game's weird.
You're fading them with the Kraken?
No. What's wrong with me? This game is.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Let's just leave it at this. If I lose this pick, my excuse is I am an idiot and I bet on the Kraken. But we got a snort. We got one. This game is, and I examined the line movement in the NHL very closely overnight. And I think the line movement in the NHL overnight is super indicative of sharp action because let's be honest, the public is not running to the window to bet Avs Kraken it overnight in Vegas. It's just not happening. So this line opened much higher than what it is now. It was like minus 160, minus 170 towards the Avs. Now it's moving in the Kraken's direction. And I don't know why. It's also moving towards the under. And I don't know why either. Because Seattle's lost 5 straight, 7 of 8. They've had 6 goals or more in all of those games but 1. Colorado's won 3 straight, 5 of 7. They've had 6 goals or more in all of those games, but 1. Everything tells you Avs over tonight, yet the line overnight moved Kraken under. I can't explain it, but I'm going to trust it. I trust the Sharps more than I trust my own personal handicap on the NHL. So we're going to go with the Kraken tonight on the money line, plus 135. I apologize in advance if they lose 8-0. If they do,
it's going to happen.
It
the
might.
One bright spot I will say is Philip Grubauer in net for the Seattle Kraken. He's been phenomenal. He's going up against his old team.
That's true. That's a great point. Thank you, Lauren. This is why you're.
I'm not making your point, but I'm saying this is the one.
No, that's the revenge game.
This
the
is the one
revenge
game
game
of the situation is that Philip Grubauer is going up against his old team. It is a revenge game. I think he could be on fire in this game, but I still think
McKinnon either.
More firepower. So
no McKinnon. There's some injuries for Colorado still.
They've been playing without McKinnon, and they've still.
You're right. They have, and they've been good. But I cannot explain this logically with statistics or goal differential or anything. This is, for some reason, everyone's betting Colorado. Everyone's betting the over. But just like Annis asked, reverse line movement, it's going in the other direction.
I think a lot of that probably has to do with Philip Grubauer playing in a revenge game, and he usually plays big in big games, just from what I've seen covering the team over the last few years.
Kraken win 3-1. You heard it here first.
Okay. Mark that down, guys. 3-1. Okay. I am fading your Saints pick for my best bet of the weekend.
One of us is going to win.
Now that we have weekend shows, I did my best bet of the weekend, but you know what? It's fine. So I have the Eagles laying 2 against the Saints, and not going to lie, this is a deadlock heavy week. The split start in Pennsylvania, where the unreliable but improving Philadelphia Eagles are laying 2 points against the somewhat depleted and inconsistent New Orleans Saints. They're inconsistent, Jared. All right. I mean, not saying that the Eagles are the most consistent team in the world, but you know what? It's fine. They've been one of the more Jekyll and Hyde teams in the 2021 NFL season, and they ride the Jalen Hurts roller coaster. Hurts is coming off an impressive performance on the road against the Broncos, but faces what I think is a much stiffer test this week against the Saints. They've allowed the fewest points of any team in the NFC. So this game should be viewed as a toss-up, and this is why I'm laying the points for the Eagles. Hurts is a 108.3 passer rating the last 2 weeks, and I believe in him far more than I believe in Trevor Siemian, who lost the benefit of the doubt earlier in his career with the Broncos and Jets. Sorry, also about your Jets. And was never as talented as Hurts anyways. So I think the Saints might be the slightly better team beyond that. But at the same time, it's not enough for me to take them in a virtual pick'em situation on the road following back-to-back losses. And obviously, I'm going to wait, I think, a little bit on this, but this is my best bet heading into the weekend. I'm going to wait for the news on whether Alvin Kamara is going to be playing or not. I know, you know, at the same time, like that will cement my pick a little bit more. But at the same time, even it might cost me a little bit of a value. But at the same time, I'm waiting till at least tomorrow to bet this game, but I do like the Eagles laying 2 against the Saints. It's a toss-up. Take a quarter, flip it on up, put it on down. Taking the favorites in this one.
Heads or tails with the Eagles? Obviously tails, right?
Mm-hmm. Good one, Jared.
I'm sorry. That was so corny. We cannot
Good
end the
one.
show on that corny joke. We have to.
On that note, it is time to wrap it up because
crap.
He's going crazy. All right, fun show today, Jared. Maybe we'll
really fun
give away a little bit more often. We love the comments. We love you getting involved. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, because we're doing this every single day, 10 a.m. live. We'll probably give away more money sometime in the future. Sorry, DP, our boss, if that's not in the if that's not.
No, I'll be honest. I think that's Pickswise is known for 2 things: awesome shows and giving away free money. Yeah. Awesome content and free money. That to me,
you gotta love free money.
We're doing it again tomorrow.
Ooh,
$250 again tomorrow.
$250 more tomorrow. So make sure that you are.
I'm gonna ask for a raise. This is crazy.
Drop a comment. Yeah, Jared's like, can I have tomorrow off, please? Yeah. He just wants to watch and comment.
I think that's why Alex was in the comments today. That sneaky devil. That sneaky devil. I'm on to you, Alex Glaze. I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah. All righty. Well, that's it for us today. We're giving away $250 again tomorrow. So make sure to tune in, like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Twitter, follow the Pickswise on YouTube channel. Go to pickswise.com, follow our bets. It's great. It's going to be a great night tonight. Go Avs. For Jared Smith, I'm Lauren Jabara. Best of luck tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. Wow.